Welcome to How to Write a Literature Review. This is a very valuable skill, even though you won't be writing formal ones, most of you, when you get out of undergrad. You are going to do it a bunch while you're here. And the synthesizing skill that you learn is applicable to literally any job that you might want to have. Okay, what's the purpose of a lit review? You're synthesizing the existing literature, which is an expression we use for the research that's out there, or highlighting common themes of what's been studied, and often trying to identify some gaps in the research, things that have not been studied, and then building a case for why this study is needed or would be beneficial for specific groups. Okay, so that synthesis of research conclusions should focus on the outcomes. I know in journalism, they're often describing how many people were in the study and how they did the study and that kind of things. We don't tend to focus on that unless it's a study that we're closely modeling and saying, okay, this one is very similar to what I want to do, right? And we're going to build on that or change something important about it. Then you might get into it. Otherwise, you focus on the findings. It provides a context for the current study that you're proposing to engage in, and it justifies the importance of that. And it does that in part by outlining the theoretical or the conceptual framework, the background or set of assumptions that goes with the methods that you're going to be using. Now, I want to differentiate here between a bibliography, which you will also be doing, an annotated bibliography of the sources that you are curating about your topic, and a research literature synthesis, right? So the first one, an annotated bibliography, which you will be doing, summarizes each source separately and says, this is what I'm taking away from it. These are the key ideas or the theoretical concepts I think would be really valuable and useful, right? And it just says, here's the citation for the source. Here's what I'm taking away from it. That is not a lit review, right? That's a valuable thing, but it's not a lit review. A lit review merges the findings around common themes across multiple studies. I'm artificially giving you a certain number of each type that you have to go and get. That's not how you would really do things, but you're first trying to get a grasp of how different research methods affect the kind of knowledge that you can get. How do we search for sources? Okay, we're going to look at the school's databases in a minute, but I want to start with Google Scholar, not regular Google Scholar. And this is a great place to play, right? To try to find different key terms, try putting them in there to see what you can find, try giving broader terms, try giving more specific terms to see what will come up. There's a very valuable function in it called the cited by function. When you actually get a study, right, you can look at the research that it trod on. It has a references section at the end where it tells you all the pieces that it used. The cited by function is kind of the opposite of that. It's saying, here's all the people who have gone forward and used the piece that you are reading right now. So instead of who did this piece draw on, it would be who is drawn on the piece that you're writing. That's often a way to get more recent research that is built, that it can be very valuable for you as you're looking into something. However, I do need to caution that on databases and on Google Scholar, many things will come up that for you are not eligible, that are not journal articles or chapters in edited collections, which are scholarly sources that we are going to use. You may instead get thesis and dissertations, conference papers, and things that will not count. So you have to very carefully see what it is that you've brought up. This is an example from Google Scholar, right? I put in the idea of crystallization in my name, which is just another way to do a search. Once you get a researcher's name, you can also search by their name. Up comes my book on crystallization and qualitative research, confirming that I am, of course, a nerd. But if you look under that, it then says cited by 1,801 other people. If you click on that, it will then give you a list of all the different sources that you might get that actually cited that one. So that can be a super valuable thing, again, particularly to find more recent research. If you look on the left, you can see you can also set parameters. Just look at the recently or this year or last year. You can go all the way back much sooner, right? You can put in a custom range and say, only show me things that are later than 2010 because Ellingson told me I can't use things in my lit review that are any older than that without special permission. And this is what I also want to point out. This is what's called being organized on Google Scholar by relevance, meaning it puts the things from your search highest up that have been cited the most by other people. If it hasn't been cited by a lot of people, it'll be much further down the list. That's called relevance. And then you can also, though, push on the stuff by on the left side, sort by date, and it will give you the most recent things first. Also a valuable tool, depending upon what you're looking for. The other way to search for sources is to use the library database. Of those, the communication source is very, very valuable, has up-to-date and recent communication things. You can get the actual PDF. Some of these are available online anyway. You can just get them from Google Scholar, but some of them are not. You need to go in the library and see if we actually have access to them electronically. Um, Again, not all sources that you find using this database will count. So you have to carefully look at what kind of source it is. Secondly, the academic search complete is a much broader base, and I am not one of the people. Some professors really feel like it's important that you only use specifically communication concepts and ideas. I'm not one of those. I draw on sociology and psychology and media studies in film studies from people who don't identify as communication people, and I'm fine with that. So depending upon who you have for a professor, that may be more of an issue. But for me, you can also use Academic Search Complete to get other kinds. This shows you the library's homepage, and you can see there it says books, articles, videos, or databases. If you click on databases, this will show up, and this lets you look by subject, right? You can put communication in there. You can search it from a pull down, or you can just put in the name of the database that you want to search for, or the topic that you want to search for. And either way, it will give you ones that would be relevant.